Hello there. Welcome back to the booth here at Pro Tour Dominaria. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. This is Paul Cheon. Not sure I'm ready for this. Just looked at the deck.
I have no words.
From Sam Black. He's playing against Gerry Thompson here in round number 2. There's a Mox Amber and 3 Navigator's Compass on this sheet, and he's playing all of them.
I'm not going to lie. Going into the tournament, if you were like, Paul, do you think Mox Amber is going to be played? I would have been like, maybe in standard, but probably not. And we're now seeing it in a limited deck.
6 forest, 1 island, 4 mountain, 2 swamps, and 2 plains is the mana base. Sounds like the players are ready. Let's head on down. It's time for round number 2 here from Pro Tour Dominaria. And welcome back to coverage here at Pro Tour Dominaria. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Paul Cheon. And we've got quite a feature match lined up for you here. I was saying in the chat earlier, this might be the craziest deck I've ever seen at the Pro Tour in the limited portion, and I'm going to stand by that.
Yep.
We've got in our feature match area seated and ready to play 2 of our game's best. Gerry Thompson, who I'm assuming drafted a more normal deck. Only 2 colors, Gerry. My
what?
goodness
Come on.
sakes. Yep, he's on mountains and islands, so probably some type of a Wizards deck. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But on the other side of the table, Sam Black. Look at the smile. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Sam.
Birthday draft.
And boy, did he get a gift. He's got Mox Amber, 3 Navigator's Compass, 6 forest, 1 island, 4 mountains, 2 plains, and 2 swamps to go with a Memorial of Folly. He is a 5-color deck. I'm going to tell you the multicolored cards he's playing right now, and you'll see them as we go. He's got 1 Arvad the Cursed, 1 Ariel Knight of Windgrace, 1 Garna, 2 Grand Warlord Rada, 1 Halar, 1 Joyra Weatherlight Captain, and he is, in fact, playing 1 copy of Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. So he is taking the unplayables to the next level. He's got Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, which is unplayable, 1 Mox Amber and 3 Navigator's Compass, which are in almost all scenarios unplayable, and he's just running them out there, and he's put together this 5-color masterpiece, and I just cannot wait to see what it does.
Yeah.
So far, it's produced a turn 3 Halar, although didn't even need the Compass.
The one thing that's really disappointing to me is that he has a Joda Archmage Eternal, and he chose to show a little restraint by not playing that one. I feel like if you're all in on, if you're playing 3 Navigator's Compasses, just play everything. I mean, this was clearly a stipulation draft where you go take every legend that you see, especially if they're multicolored. This is insane.
This is absurd. Now, this deck, what I would consider for this deck is that it is probably extremely high variance. Now, the power level peak on this deck is straight up through the roof, right? I mean, he's playing all of these awesome gold cards that are certainly going to be more powerful at their mana cost than whatever his opponent's doing. The downside is that he's got to play a Mox Amber, which sometimes won't be turned on, and 3 Navigator's Compass, which he may be in a situation where he needs to discard them or where they just don't do anything. And in multiples, they're not even that good.
Yeah, the question is, you have to play these Navigator's Compasses, which, put you down a card, right? It gives you mana fiction, it gives you maybe a little bit of life, but ultimately it is card disadvantage. You're going to be down a card. So the question is, are these gold cards going to be, kind of worth its weight? Will they prove their weight in terms of being able to kind of replace that 1 card that you lose? But he's proven me wrong already by playing a Joyra followed by Mox Amber, which means he got to actually draw a card that turn.
Though it looks like Shiv and Fire took care of business there for Gerry Thompson, as he has had multiple removal spells and has left Sam Black with a pretty anemic board state. Though, to be fair to Sam, Jerry's not exactly applying a ton of pressure here either, just 3 damage with that attack.
Yeah, I feel like if you're in Sam's situation, Jerry's color combination is the one you kind of want to see the least because you're playing against a blue deck, which likely means they have access to a lot of counter magic and what have you. And also blue-red wizards tend to be kind of quicker and more tempo-oriented. So this is probably one of Sam's worst matchups. But, hey, just keep jamming those wizards and see what happens.
Definitely. Memorial to Genius is going to get cracked on end step for Thompson as Sam Black plays Arvad the Cursed. Just another one. I mean, look at his graveyard. He's got Alar.
All
Jorah,
colors of the rainbow.
Karna. Oh, man. Sam Black off the deep end here in the draft portion. Let's see if it pays off. As we see, though, these players are 1-0 coming in, so he did win his first round.
Yeah. And Gerry's deck looks very, very strong. This is the classic blue-red wizard archetype, which, you know, I want to say, at the beginning of the format, you know, I don't think it was actually kind of one of the more popular builds. You know, I think a lot of people opted to go for like black-green, saplings, and kicker, and then recently, you just like can't even get a blue-red wizard card anymore. Everybody just kind of wants to draft this deck.
Yeah, very popular archetype. It is one of the more standout, like it's the only real tribal deck. You know, you can do some stuff with saplings, but this wizards deck really does reward you for having as many wizards as you can play. And that's why you'll see cards like Tolarian Scholar, a card that doesn't really have a lot of appeal in general, you know, on the battlefield sometimes to really try to turn those on.
Yeah.
G2 Lava Runner is another example that Gerry actually has on the battlefield here. You know, the best thing about it, it has good types.
Yeah, being a wizard is huge.
Yeah, the rest of the card isn't super impressive, but you know, if he can string together some stuff, it could be pretty good. And we're going to see blink of an eye to return Arvad the Cursed to Sam's hand on end step and draw Gerry Thompson a card. Although it looks like a little pause there from Sam. No, he does say, yeah, that's fine. What did he find? A divination there as well? This is kind of a sweet little deck from Thompson, but he does need to find some beef. He needs to, like he's been able to manage Sam Black's board really beautifully here, but just has not applied the type of pressure that you need to apply to get the job done. And here's divination for Thompson. Okay, Tetsuko, and he did find, I believe, another G2 Lava Runner with his draw stick.
Okay, so that's putting on a bit more pressure. Yeah. Gerry's drawn so many cards. I'm
He really
so
has.
jealous.
He has drawn a lot of cards. Sam Black down a few cards here. Still is going to have that Arvad in his hand, and he just resolved Grow from the Ashes with Kicker, so you got to figure he can cast anything he wants.
Yeah, I'm curious if Gerry is concerned about, you know, maybe a scary card like a potential Fight with Fire or something. Does he want to overextend here? Because that is one of the ways he could potentially lose. I don't know if Sam actually, does Sam have one? I'm assuming he just has every good card in the format.
Kind of interesting here from Thompson as well. He's setting up a nice little game plan where if Sam Black does end up going for the Arvad, Gerry's actually set up a really neat play where he can use Merfolk Trickster to tap down Sam's Arvad, and then on his turn play Tetsuko plus Karn's Temporal Sundering in the same turn and basically just seal up the game.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that's only, of course, if Sam's only play of relevance ends up being Arvad, which is the case right now. Now, this is really interesting because Sam can actually cast another Compass. I think he wants to keep it in his hand for the Tome, but he may need the life because he's trying to set up the Fight with Fire that he has in his hand for next turn.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, this is going to backfire
wow.
horribly on Sam.
Sam?
That's probably game, right? Let's see. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not content with the 3-for-1 there, just choosing to play the Arvad instead and hoping that Gerry doesn't have a way to interact, which is kind of a long shot, right? Gerry's looked through so many cards. There's just so many different things Gerry could have here to push through damage. I think I would have really just looked to use that Fight with Fire to get those creatures off the board.
Yeah, well, Sam's going to get punished for it here because here's Karn's Temporal Sundering, and this is a legendary sorcery. Sam's doing the math, and it doesn't work out favorably for him. He does have one activation if he'd like, but there's nothing for 1 mana that he can find in his deck, so he's going to scoop him up. And well, it looks like we got to see kind of the downside to the way that Sam Black has built his deck, and that he's put a lot of pressure on just having those legendary gold creatures do their thing, but they got killed. They simply got dealt with. That was game 1 going to Gerry Thompson. So we'll see if Sam can make the comeback here with his 3 Navigator's Compass, Mox Amber, 5-color legendary theme deck, or if it's going to be Gerry Thompson to finish things off. We'll be back with more from Pro Tour Dominaria right after these messages.
When I first encountered Magic, it blew my mind. It just felt like unlike anything I'd ever seen before. first heard about magic from a college buddy. I had broken my leg at work in college. Found some cards at a bookstore and played it with my college roommate and was hooked ever since. The game and the community around magic are kind of the driving forces to where I even am right now in my life. It's just tremendous.
Match area here at Pro Tour Dominaria. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Paul Cheon. And it is our great pleasure to bring you coverage of Limited here on Pro Tour Friday, where we've got a spicy brew in the hands of Sam Black, facing down, looks like a pretty darn solid version of one of the more known archetypes in the format, Blue-Red Wizards for Gerry T.
Yeah, Gerry looks to have kind of one of the more traditional archetypes here, if you will, with just a very solid, streamlined Blue-Red Wizards deck, lots of cantrips, and even top end, as we saw with that Karn's Temporal Sundering, which was very, very impressive there, with an Adeliz and multiple copies of Tetsuko to actually be able to cast that legendary sorcery. And you might think, well, 3 is not necessarily the most reliable number, but the thing is, when you're drafting the blue-red deck, there's so many cantrips, Blink of an Eye, Opt, Divination. You just cycle through your deck to be able to get that.
Got a lot of other matches going on in the feature match area here as well, and we've got our sideline reporter, Tim Willoughby, down there with some updates.
Thanks there, Marshall. We've got 3 matches that are already going to their games too. On the back table, Kai Buddha against Makis Matsoukas. Buddha started off with a turn 3 Steel Leaf Champion. That got sealed away, and Blackblade Reforged for Makis Matsoukas was enough to just present really terrifyingly large threat turn after turn until eventually he was able to win that game 1. For Sean McLaren against Lucas Esper-Bertot, it was small flyers with just a short sword, but you know what? Sometimes the equipment doesn't need to be a big one. He was able to close out that game 1. And then finally we have Owen Turtenwald against Emmanuel Geschensen. And Turtenwald, with his Jeskai deck, has some power in there. He's got Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and a Siege Gang Commander, meaning that while he's taking control, he's also killing his opponents. He's 1 game up against Emmanuel Geschensen.
Thank you, Tim. Looks like our players are just about set here. Both of them on a mulligan to 6, I believe.
Ooh.
And that actually punishes Sam a lot harder than it punishes Gerry, doesn't it?
Right. Sam's already kind of signing himself up to be down a card or 2, depending on how many Navigator's Compasses he draws. But Gerry has a kind of a questionable one, too. It looked like he had 1 island with a bunch of red spells, and a couple of them were red cantrips, but he still needs to find that mountain.
Okay. Sam has the...
Was that a Shalai?
He does. Oh, yeah.
Of course, why not?
Yeah, he's got it all.
Yeah, yeah. We were only looking at the gold cards for the legends, but yeah, he's got a Shalai voice of plenty in there as well.
No, I mean, you're right, because the truth is that he also has a Kazarov Sengir Pureblood, and I also didn't mention it earlier because, well, there was too many other things to mention, but he actually is running 2 different legendary sorceries. He also has Yawgmoth's Vile Offering.
Ooh.
In the deck. So, you know,
That's
Sam,
the payoff.
He is trying to go full maximum payoff mode. We'll see if it works out for him. Tetsuko on turn 2 from Gerry means that both of his creatures are unblockable, but there's Halar. Oh, I spoke too soon. Halar's going to hit the bin here thanks to Wizard's Lightning. A good answer for Halar, but this is an important turn here. Sam finds a land, and he's going to cast Rada. That's going to net him 1 mana. Does he have anything to do with it?
Oh, he's got a Mox Amber too, so if he had a 2-drop, he would have been able to play something.
Interesting. Instead, his hand ends up being a removal spell in Blessed Light, and Grow from the Ashes is his other card. He will be able to kick that next turn and give himself access to a lot of mana, but he's running a little bit light on action, just the removal spell left in hand.
Yeah, this Tetsuko that Jerry's played, that card's really impressed me. You know,
Me too.
Just even at the floor, it's a 2-mana 1/3 unblockable. If you're behind, you can use. It's a good blocker. It also gets in a lot of damage. You know, there's just plenty of 1-power things that you can have. A bunch of Saprolings just become unblockable out of nowhere. And then you also just, you know, like I've just been surprised at the number of things that I can actually just push through. There are various 3-mana 3/1s that you can give unblockable as well.
That's right. Really impressive card. Yeah, that legendary type as well.
Yeah.
Just comes up more often than you'd think.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, if Gerry had a Mox Amber. But instead it is Sam. Yeah, Sam has to decide what he wants to do with his mana. He's decided, I think, for this turn that he'd like to be able to just go ahead and use his removal spell at some point.
So he's like playing the Mox Amber just to brag.
No, it actually got unwound.
Whoa!
Or unwound, I suppose is what I should say. Interesting.
Wow. I think Gerry thinking, all right, Sam's really relying on trying to ramp and just getting all of his colors online. So chose to use the counter magic there.
But it does backfire on him a bit here because Sam, with the 4 mana he had plus the extra that he generated from the attack from Rada, will actually still be able to kick his Grow from the Ashes, which should unlock all the colors for him. In fact, yes, it does look like he's done that here.
Look at that.
And Wooburg.
And the value memorial land there to boot.
Yep, and he even has a swamp to activate it. So this could work out well for Sam, although he is still under some amount of pressure. Theoretically, his deck should be able to go over the top at some point here.
Yeah.
Also, he's just doing a fine job of racing,
Yeah. So yeah, he can use the because I don't think he wants to use the Blessed Light here on either of Gerry's creatures currently. So I mean he's got the mana too. He can just use that Memorial to get back Halar and just put that onto the battlefield.
He will do so.
And that does do a good job. What's funny is if Gerry didn't have that pump spell, it would have actually kept the Lava Runner at bay because Gerry has so many spells in the graveyard. Kind of wishes that he didn't have those spells so that the Lava Runner would be unblockable.
He has non-bode here. That's another thing you see with Tetsuko is equipment doesn't work the way you want. But you'll still take it. In the meantime, Gerry's trying to play the tempo game and does have Sam down to 8, but boy, those last 8 damage could be hard to get if he can't keep doing this turn after turn. Though Fiery Intervention does help out. Got another match update, by the way. Owen Turtenwald has won his match to improve to 2-0. He beat Emmanuel Gershenson and dispatched of him, so he's going to be 1-1, and Owen's going to be 2-0. And Sam finally bites the bullet and uses Blessed Light to kill, well, Tetsuko, the one we both liked.
Well, it's a lot of scaries. This blue-red deck often could just have a lot of ways to just burn the opponent out. You have, cards like the Wizard's Lightning, and so you have to be very careful. Also, like how many Gerry could also just randomly top deck multiple copies of the Lava Runner as well.
So far, though, both players stable here. Sam Black running out of cards, needs to find some action. Is it Ariel? Kaboom! It is. That is just what the doctor ordered. He says, well, now I'm going to start attacking. And all of a sudden, Gerry Thompson's in a position where he needs to find an answer for Ariel. Okay. Although, interestingly, he does have a blink of an eye, which is going to open up another 2 damage minimum. Ooh, is that Fight with Fire?
Yeah. I think he's got a mountain currently in hand, so he just needs to find 2 more lands.
Oh, boy. This could get really interesting here, especially if Sam can't find mana. I believe he just drew Kazarov off the top of the library, but he's going to prefer Ariel. And also, he can't cast Kazarov.
Yeah.
He needs double black.
He kicked a girl from the ashes and can't play a
spell. No, not even close. Yeah. Looks like Gerry was right to counter the Mox Amber, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Although that being said, this game, I think in many ways has come down to Gerry just finding a couple more land drops to finish off Sam.
Gerry's in one of those situations where, all right, he's got Fight with Fire and land number 8 in hand, right?
Yes.
This Ariel will win the game for Sam Black pretty quickly. So now Gerry has to make a tough decision. If he draws a land, he will win the game. But if he doesn't, this Fight with Fire, he might need to point this Fight with Fire at the Ariel this turn to prevent it from getting out of hand. And he does have that Tetsuko in play, which is continuing to chip away at Sam Black's life total. So this is
super interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And he says, land go. So
right.
Gerry is now more or less committed to this plan. He could change from it next turn if absolutely necessary. But he's got a blocker, and he says, I'm going for it.
Oh, my goodness.
What?
Sam Black drew Shalai. Do you know what Shalai does? It gives you and your other creatures hexproof.
Oh, my God. Game plan foiled for Gerry Thompson.
Shalai.
And he can, of course, kill Shalai with Fight with Fire, but I think he's just going to lose. I mean, wow, what a rip for Sam Black.
That is insane.
Unbelievable. Guaranteed hits a land, of course.
He could still...
Maybe Karn's Temporal Sundering could be a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he could bounce Shalai, buy an extra turn, find a draw step, or find a land, kill him.
Yeah, he could do that.
He didn't, though.
But at this point, Sam does have the mana to pump his team, put a counter on all of his creatures. Yeah. Gerry just has to double chump here. And Sam doesn't necessarily need to pump here.
He pumps, he wins, though, right?
No, he gets in for one. Gerry's
he gets
5.
in for 5.
He gets in for... Shalai's a 3/4, right?
Yeah, but he's got Halar down there, too, right?
Oh, Halar's a trampler.
Right.
Of course.
So that would be exactly 5. And that's exactly what happened. So Sam Black picks up... Whew, that was a close one. The next game here. And, of course, we're going to get to see game number 3 between these two. We're going to take a look at one of our other tables here down on the back part of your screen there. Makis Matsoukas is playing up against Kai Buddha.
Yeah.
Yes, that Kai
guy.
Buddha.
He still plays Magic?
He does. He doesn't come out to every Pro Tour, but
Right.
the ones that he wants to travel to, he does. And the German Juggernaut is in the feature match area. That's him on the right, contemplating his options. One of the most successful Magic players in the history of our game. If you haven't looked up his resume, you might want to do that.
You know, in his prime, I mean, they're like video game numbers.
They are absurd.
They just don't make sense.
No.
And that's actually when I kind of got into competitive Magic. And it was just literally Kai top 8ing and winning almost every single Pro Tour. It was crazy. But Kai definitely doesn't play nearly as much as he used to. And wow, that is the biggest rampaging Cyclops I've ever seen. Is that
so? It has Blackblade Reforged plus On Sarah's Wings on it.
And there's 6, so it's an 11/11 flying lifelinker. Okay. Okay, and
is this real?
Makis is like, what's going on here? Why are you attacking me?
Right. You know, the only things that come to mind when I see attacks like this are the ability for Kai to either kill or bounce his own creature to prevent the life gain.
Right.
But he's not in a situation where that's viable because Makis is at 17. Like,
So the
it's
only
not killing him here.
The only card I would think about, let's see, at instant speed. So there's a card like Vicious Offering, right?
Right.
What would if Vicious Offering would turn it into a 6/6, which would still mean Macias could block the Steel Leaf Champion and have it survive.
So we're
now, if he's worried about a combination of multiple Vicious Offerings or Gift of Growth.
Right, but
Yeah.
Vicious Offering requires you to sack a creature too. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, am I okay with a 6-for-1? Probably fine with that.
Macias could
But
also
look,
just
he
play it
didn't
safe and
block.
not block. Yeah. Well, I mean, that is also reasonable if you think about it. He's going to attack for 1 million next turn.
That's right. He's
And,
down to
and,
9.
and on top of that, if Kai did have a card like Eviscerate, he would have played that before attacking.
For sure.
So he knows that his Rampaging Cyclops is just safe here if he doesn't block.
He can make it bigger. He drew a short sword.
Ooh, it's a free short sword too with the
It is.
Joyrus Familiar in play.
Oh, he put it on the.
Wow, look at Macias playing so conservatively.
Come on, Mac. Let's get big.
Yeah.
So let's see what it is that we're dealing with here. It was a big-time pump spell, but Wizard's Lightning in response says
Oh,
Gift
no.
of Growth is going to fizzle. And that's going to
Yep.
be the match going to Makis Matsukas, Kai Bude, coming in to 1-0. But
Do you agree with
it's going to have to be 1-1 on his way
try
back
to
out.
play around you having a land, flashing it with a 1/3 and having double gift of growth?
Yeah, I mean, if I have double gift
Kai's
of growth, I can trade anyway, right? Then I guess you attack.
having a little post-match decompression there with Makis. But it looks like we're just about ready for this one right here. Sam Black versus Gerry Thompson. Still favor Gerry in the matchup.
Yep.
Yep.
But if I'm Macias there, I will take anything that Kai has to say, you know, and be
Start
like,
writing it
Look,
down.
I know I won, but if you have any help, you know, what did I do? Would you have blocked in that situation? And he's even explaining why, like, he chose not to block. So I thought that was really nice, back and forth there.
Well, Sam has at least one way he can start getting those lands down and get those super powerful legendary cards going. He has Llanowar Scout.
Yeah, and this is a card that is not in his main deck, but he boarded it in. And I think that's actually very heads up because it is very good at brick walling those lava runners.
Look at this turn
that Gerry
3.
has.
He uses the Llanowar Scout to put in his 4th land and even gets an attack in with Rada. And no play yet for Gerry Thompson.
What is in Jerry's hand?
He is way behind here. I think that Sam might be able to just run him over. Oh, I might have spoken too soon. Fight with fire to kill Grand Warlord Raha. At least stems the bleeding a bit.
And look at this natural, just forest, mountain, plain, swamp.
I know. He's
Don't
supposed
even
to be
need
an
the
island.
compass.
Yeah,
It's better that he doesn't draw the compass. If he just draws mana like this, he's in great shape.
that's right. All right, well, Shalai is the follow-up play. This is still just turn 4 for Sam Black, so he's going to be pretty happy with that. Oh, but look at this.
Okay.
Fiery Intervention. Now, this is the kind of draw that can backfire on Sam Black because he will run out of action quicker than Gerry will, generally speaking, given that he has those mana-fixing cards that don't really have a big impact on the game later.
Oh, and he is out of big threats to player. All he could muster up that turn was an Elfim Druid.
Okay, now, it is, though, the ball still very much in Jerry's court because, while it's nice that he was able to deal with threats, if he doesn't start applying pressure, which he's not doing here, Sam can just simply draw out of it.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. You know what he really needs right now? A Navigator's Compass.
He drew
Joyra.
Joyra, and he can't cast her.
Yeah.
Wow, that is unfortunate.
This is where after the match, if you lose, you go to your friends and go, man, I got totally mana screwed. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah.
Just,
And he's just passing the turn back yet again. Gerry Thompson with not a whole lot going on. Just going to play another Arcanist.
Okay.
Pass the turn back.
got a card.
There's Ariel, though, for Sam. And that's going to resolve, so that looks pretty darn nice here.
And Jerry's already used 2 of his ways to kill big creatures.
That's right. He has a Wizard's Lightning in his hand, but it's unlikely to work. So he's just going to go ahead and bounce that. And he actually found a decent one, though.
Oh,
Awkward.
This is very awkward.
Well, yeah, so he could have used one of his Voldalian Arcanist to pay for one of the colorless for that blink of an eye. Chose not to. Drew a 4-drop. I don't think he has a land to cast it here.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah, he already had one of the Arcanists that he could use to block the Llanowar Scout, so I'm sure he's, it's a minor misstep, but he got punished for sure.
Yeah, and it might come back to bite him here.
What is this?
The reality is that attacking with that Cyclops wasn't going to happen soon anyway. That is Kazarov, and there is a mountain on the battlefield for Sam Black, so boom, 4/4 flyer with upside now.
All of Jerry's creatures currently survive. Sam needs an additional red source, or a navigator's compass, or a Mox Amber. All those would be nice.
You know what would be pretty sweet? Is if he could find Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. It is crazy.
It would be sweet if he just drew one of his gold cards.
Yes, that is true. Basically, any real action from Sam Black is something that he's interested in at this point.
And Jerry's probably just thinking, what is happening?
He blink of an eye again.
Oh, and this time,
Yeah, he's
tapping his Arcanists.
Not messing around this time. And now he's going to play the Rampaging Cyclops, but he's really only buying himself time. And what did you see? Grow?
Yeah, there was a Grow from the Ashes, which he can get a little discount given that he has the Elfame Druid on the battlefield. And if he does that, he will have 6 mana, meaning he can't play the Kazarov. But he can still play the Ariel that's in his hand. So, and this also.
And did he not have a Joyra?
Oh yeah, he has a Joyra too.
Yeah.
So this is perfect.
He can lead off with that and then start chaining together these to reload his hand. Joyra is a must kill here from Jerry's perspective. But I think he does have an answer in Wizard's Lightning for it. So that will be really handy for
and
Jerry.
Sam's hand is stacked. He's also got a Fight with Fire, and he got the second red source from that Grow from the Ashes.
Well, things looking good for Sam Black.
I'm having some triggers for that one. Thanks, man.
And these two players are friends. They have tested together in the past for Pro Tours.
It'd be really sweet if they just hated each other. Death match.
Yeah. This just adds to it. God, do you remember the one time where you beat me with the triple compass deck?
Yeah, never again, Sam Black. Divination here for Gerry Thompson. Oh, he actually did find Karn's Temporal Sundering.
Okay.
Though it doesn't look amazing here.
Get back, Fight with Fire. Yep.
Oh, but look at this. Gitu Chronicler is going to get back a Fight with Fire, and we can have a Fight with Fire here coming up pretty soon.
A fight off?
Yeah.
3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and he's got the double Arcanist too, so he will be able to cast that spell.
Can he kick it?
Yes,
No,
I believe.
Let's just say yes, he can.
Oh my God.
We'll work on it later.
Okay, all right. We didn't go over this in rehearsal.
Nobody's
Sorry.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there's Ariel, and there it is,
Oh.
the Navigator's Compass. Trigger.
So is this juicy enough?
Up to 19.
The problem is Jerry also just knows that Sam has 2 large legends in his hand.
Yeah. And Sam's unlikely to play into the Fight with Fire,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah, just protect one of them.
And Ariel does put a lot of pressure because
Yeah.
it just continues to make a creature every turn. So I feel like Jerry is kind of priced in here. He can use that Fight with Fire to get, all 3 of those creatures off the battlefield.
That's really interesting spot. By the way, was that Tetsuko off the top? That could unlock the potential for Karn's Temporal Sundering, though Jerry's still sitting on just 2 islands at this point.
Yeah, I
But
think.
boy, this is really cool. For example, if Sam Black just had Grand Warlord Rada instead of Ariel, Jerry can deal with that. He can
Right.
block. He can just
doesn't
say,
need to- he
you're going to
doesn't
have
play
to
it.
commit more than that. But you do not need to commit more than Ariel Knight of Windgrace.
Oh, but he has a Shivan Fighter.
Oh, that is perfect.
Jeez.
Gerry Thompson really navigating this nicely and giving himself the best possible shot. And he's going to get in for a nice little attack here, too.
Oh, and if you notice here, Jerry has that Tetsuko in hand.
Oh,
but he,
look.
oh my.
This is Garna now from Sam Black. And that means he gets to rebuy Ariel from the graveyard because
That
Gerry
is
Thompson just used
absurd.
it. And of course, it
This
also
is
gives him a double
insane.
block, which means that he gets to just gobble up that that Cyclops.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And I completely forgot about the Garna. I was going to say that Jerry's keeping that Tetsuko in hand to be able to keep it protected from removal so that he could go, 1-2 punch with Tetsuko and the current Temporal Sundering. But wow, that Garna.
Major blowout here.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, this Ariel does have haste now,
So
thanks to Garna.
and vigilance, so you can attack and make a token here.
Also just a major
jeez.
hit, 7 damage.
Yeah, and now Jerry's at 8, and Sam Black is holding a Fight with Fire in hand.
Yeah.
He can just use that to finish the game.
Yeah, he's going to be able to kill him next turn if Jerry doesn't either kill him or have some
Island?
type.
Okay, he found
It
Island.
was an island. Jerry needs a way to interact with Fight with Fire, and that's a hard thing to do.
So he goes Tetsuko. All of his Arcanists are unblockable. Can he get Sam Black down to 10 life and finish him off with Fight with Fire?
3.
Right? Because he gets in for 4
Yes.
this turn. He gets in for 4
Yes.
this turn, takes an extra turn, then plays Fight with Fire. He
Does Sam-
needed that
does-
island.
Does Sam Sam can actually kill one of these? No. Wow. Is Jerry about to steal this?
Again, he gets in for 4, unblockable, and gets to take an extra turn. And he has that Fight with
They're
Fire.
unblockable.
Yeah.
I think he just has it.
Tetsuko getting it done.
Was Tetsuko the absolute perfect creature for this situation?
Oh, yeah. Right, count up your mana. Make sure you get it
3,
low enough.
6, 9.
Yeah, that's 9.
There's no life gain on the table. In fact, there's only one or there's only a few mana available here for Black.
Yeah, is he wondering, can I play around Syncopate? There's a Navigator's Compass on the battlefield.
Oh,
So you can
no.
play around Syncopate for 1, I guess. Okay.
10U.
10U.
Make sure that that resolves, and then attack with everything. And Sam shows him the Fight with Fire in hand, but it was Gerry Thompson who won the Fight with Fire fight and gets the job done, winning 2-1. Jerry, give him a smile or something. He doesn't want to. I guess he says, happy
That was
birthday,
a
Sam?
tight game. Wow.
Wow, that was insane. Boy, Jerry actually winning both of the games that he won that match in a similar fashion by being able to chain together Tetsuko plus Karn's Temporal Sundering in the same turn.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, he even sandbagged it. He wanted to protect it so that he could set up a situation where he can have that huge turn. And it was really important that he found that third island to be able to play all of his spells on the same turn.
Yeah, Tetsuko very vulnerable to cards like Ariel. Now, it's slow. You need to make a knight and then start sending him over. But boy, Gerry Thompson scrapped that one out, and Sam Black just showed him the Fight with Fire, the lethal, by the way,
It's
Fight
like, I
with Fire.
had you dead if you didn't have me dead.
Yep, so about as close as they get down in the feature match area. That is, of course, going to do it for round 2. We've got one more round of booster draft to bring you, but first, these messages.
Looking for a place to hang out and play Magic? Head to your local game store this and every Friday to play Friday Night Magic events. Get more info at magic.wizards.com/FNM.
So we have a lot of people with fantastic Pro Tour experience here on the coverage team. We've got the likes of Simon Gertzen, a Pro Tour champion, of course, and hopefully between him and Paul Chion and Marshall and Brian David Marshall and all the team, we can get you inside the heads of the players in the draft and give you a sense of what they're actually thinking. But if you want the foolproof way of finding out what Luis Scott Vargas is thinking, well, for that, you need Luis Scott Vargas, and conveniently enough, we have.